The grain export inspection numbers were released early this morning. Corn came in at 820,916 metric ton. This is what's being inspected for exports. Sorghum, 17,657. Soybeans, 497,000, just a little over that, which was lower than last week, by the way. By the way, corn was lower also. The wheat number was just slightly lower than last week, but last week was a big number, 878,000 last week. This week, 757,000. Let's check in this morning with Todd Horwitz with Bubba Trading as he joins us right now. Good morning, Todd. You said it best just before we went on the air. What about those grains?
What about them, John? Good morning. You know, again, I don't think it should be totally unexpected from everybody. I think we talked about this, and of course, sometimes you have to be patient enough to wait. And they push markets so far, usually you'll get this spring back rally. Now, the interesting thing about the grains now is they've actually held up extremely well when they should have sold off a little bit. And I would still think there'd be a little bit of a sell-off here. Nothing dangerous, but something you'd want to look to be a buyer into. But I certainly would not chase them up at these new levels. I would certainly protect what I've got and hedge. We've just had about a 12% rally in 5 days. So I think that's a pretty good opportunity to at least lock in some prices here while still being able to participate on the upside.
Yeah, you mentioned, I was reading your text message that I received here just a little bit ago. You had mentioned the dangers of chasing a market like this.
Well, anytime you chase the market, typically you're wrong. You know, they call it the fear of missing out, FOMO. You know, you're chasing a market that's already gone basically parabolic straight up. The path of least resistance is going to be in this market is going to be slightly lower. Now, again, I don't expect a major sell-off, but I certainly expect corn to probably go back to 380 before resuming this new pattern. But it needs to find some area of some support. Right now, again, we've basically gone from 341 to 390 since last Monday. And I think that's just a little bit too fast. Markets don't work that way. There's going to be some kind of a pullback coming in here pretty soon.
Now, let's see where the corn is trading at right now. We come out really strong this morning when the grains first got started. In fact, the overnight trade was about 6 cents higher. Right now, we've got the July corn contract up 7. The December's up 6 1/4, but it's above $4 by 4.5 pennies. July soybeans up 10 3/4 at 432 1/2. November is up 10 1/4 at 857 1/2. Over in the wheat market, July Chicago wheat 16 1/4 cents higher at 481 1/4. That's only 3/4 cent underneath the high. July's Kansas City wheat at 437 1/2. That is up 17 1/4 cents right now. And in the Minneapolis wheat market, July is up 15 pennies. It's at 542 3/4. Over in the cotton market today, we've got the July up 82 points at 66.81. And the December up 50 at 66.88. And Todd, when we come back, let's talk about the livestock trade. We'll do that next. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment on the Market Day Report. Over here in the livestock segment, let's get started and find out where these futures are headed and then get Todd Horwitz's analysis of this. Over here in the live cattle market, we started out the day with weakness. June live cattle down 20 at 111.08. August down 38 at 108.55. The October down 35. Live cattle market is weaker as well. August down 140 at 144.10. September feeder cattle down $1.40 also at 145.30. October's down $1.17 at 146.15. In the hogs, though, a little bit of mixed action. The June is down $1.15. But the July is down 53 at 92.47. Then we go to August and October. Both of those contracts are higher by 8. As we go back to Todd Horwitz here with Bubba Trading. Okay, Todd, what about this cattle market? You know, sometimes from time to time, it kind of takes its cues from what's going on in the money market here. Are we completely separated now, or do you think that cattle are going to try to find a little bit of a bottom here?
Actually, John, I do think that they have found, a bottom. I think it takes time. Bottoms don't just form overnight. We don't get that straight up recovery because usually that leads to lower prices. I think you saw what we call a key reversal last Wednesday or Thursday. We were down on the day and closed on the highs. I think it looks really solid. Okay, and I'm looking for spots to add in here. I think we go significantly higher, but not today. I think that you can continue to see this churning action. Will be a couple of attempts at rallies that'll fail, but both fats and feeders. You look at feeders. They had a big move last week. Yet corn's up, 13% or so from its low. That shows some pretty good strength in my opinion. I think the hog market is really just stuck in a big range. Every time they get a little bit of news, we get a little fear, they run them up, and then of course this morning they were up big, and then they folded real quick. So we'll see.
Yeah, you mentioned that big range. A lot of that, is it driven by just the news from day to day? We had another report of a southwestern province in China finding African swine fever. It's obvious that they don't have that under control yet.
Yeah, I think that is, John. But again, remember one thing. We look at the markets, and we haven't been this high in hogs since 2014 when we had the PED virus. And we're significantly off of those highs. Now, again, I like the market. I think they're going to continue to churn in here. I think it is more of a news. You get some fear, and they run up, and then everything seems okay, and they start selling, trying to get down. But I think if you look at June, 86 to 100 it's a wide range. But look, we've had ranges every day of $2, $3 every single day, going back a couple of weeks now.
So who's the players in this market? Because with all of this volatility, it's got to cause some folks to be taking some antacids.
I think it causes a lot of heartburn. You have a bacon sandwich, it gets a little expensive. But I think when you look at it, the big players, I think, are a lot of the funds that are trying to play, and I think they get trapped in and then they run out. And of course, some of the little guys are trying to what we call scalp the volatility, right? You look for a little bit of support, and then you get a quick move up, you take your profits and run out. But I think the big firms are trying to chase this market back and forth, and I think that as it turns out recently, they're going to be wrong.
Okay, Todd, thanks a lot. Sure appreciate it. Todd Horwitz, Bubba Trading. Brand new information here in our cutout information today, and we'll go to the beef here first. And these numbers kind of tell a little bit of a tale about what's going on in the wholesale trade. We're both higher for the choice and the select, and over in the pork cutouts, those numbers are all higher with the exception of the hams, Christine.
Look at those bellies up $23.18. I don't think I've ever seen that number go so high.
It's a big number.
All right, thank you, John. Appreciate that.